Welcome back to Anaheim. It's game number 2 of a 4-game series as the Sox try to make it 2 in a row against the Angels here on a lovely Tuesday evening in California. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. And you know, Jose Abreu was hoping for one of those big games from himself to get out of that little downturn he was in, and he got it last night.
Jose Abreu took a very good batting practice, and he carried it over into the ball game. And he's hitting the ball to the opposite field. That's usually a good sign. He's about ready to come out of it, and that's what happened last night. First time up, takes his ball to right center field. Even the great Mike Trout can't get to that one. And the Sox have the lead. Last night, 2 for 4. He drove in a pair, so it was a very good night for him. Hopefully he can bring it forward, because when he's hitting, this team is scoring a whole lot of runs.
As for the Angels offensively, they had a 9-hitter go 3 for 4 at David Fletcher, so he's been promoted to the 1 spot today.
They're looking for a number 1 hitter, and David Fletcher makes some contact. He seems to be the ideal guy, because it's really not working with Trout in the 3 spot. He's not getting an opportunity to drive in runs. Last night, David Fletcher 3 for 4, a couple of doubles and a run scored. So if he's going to be that type of table setter, it's going to help the guys in the middle, especially Mike Trout. He's going to try to get close to 100 runs batted in. He's got a long way to go because they're not giving him opportunities. When he gets the opportunity, more times than not, he does deliver, but getting the opportunity has been problematic.
For the Sox, the guy called upon to try to quiet that Angels offense once again is Carlos Rodon in his first start after the All-Star break.
And hopefully he throws it exactly like he did the last time out, which was against St. Louis, and it was brilliant. He had command of everything, threw a lot of straight changes in the zone. The wipeout slider, as always, was right there. He went into the 8th inning, giving up no runs on just 3 hits, fanned 7, walked 2. One of his better performances, if not his best. So hopefully he carries this one deep. Hopefully that high fastball will help set up that put-away slider.
Carlos Rodon to the mound. Sox trying to make it 2 in a row after a 5-3 victory in last night's game. Sox and Angels on the way.
part by Toyota. Tested, trusted. Toyota. Toyota. Let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Another beautiful day to go out sailing here in Anaheim and the surrounding area. The Sox with a win yesterday, 5-3 against the Angels, trying to make it 2 in a row in a place where they really struggled to win in the past couple of years. However, Carlos Rodon is firing up his team. Got a big hug from Herm Schneider. And the Sox are ready to go. Their left-hander trying to duplicate what he did and what we showed you he did against the Cardinals the last time out. First time in a couple weeks he's thrown. As here's the lineup for the Sox, brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. For the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price, go to webcars.com. Moncada, Sanchez, Abreu, Garcia, Narvaez up to the 5 spot considering his hit streak. Davidson, Delmonico, Anderson, and Engel.
The defensive setup for the Angels, thrown out there by Mike Scioscia. It's Upton, Trout, and Calhoun in the outfield left to right with Fletcher, Simmons, Kinsler, and Marte in the infield. Martin Maldonado gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Felix Pena. He came up with the Chicago Cubs, had a few different chances over there, never really stuck. Here he is in the rotation. He's starting his 6th game. So the ERA pretty respectable, as his 32 strikeouts and 26 in the 3rd innings. He's got a great slider. The umpires for the game tonight: Pat Hoberg has the plate, Brian Knight at first, Jerry Davis, the crew chief, is at second, and Ryan Additon is at third base. So the Sox try to take the second of a 4-game series as this road trip, the West Coast swing, rolls right along. We saw Seattle, they're a pretty good ball club. Now we see the Angels, and I think, Jason, you probably would agree that the injuries have really stifled this ball club. It'll be very tough for them to come back to get over 10 disabled stints for their pitching staff.
Yeah, but it's got to be frustrating for their fans, right? You got 2 of the greatest baseball players in the world in your lineup, and you're 1 game under. This is not what they expected, but yeah, the injuries are a major part of that.
And I would think that eventually this team is going to heal, but they've got a decision to make. And will they start divesting themselves of some of their talent, or will they think this group is good enough to go into it next year with everybody healthy and content?
We'll find out the next couple days. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do. So Moncada to lead it off, then Sanchez and Abreu here in the first against the converted reliever Felix Pena. Rarely do you see that, a guy that came up to the majors for a couple of years as a bullpen arm, taken not off the scrap heap, but certainly from a position that he was rather entrenched in usage, and then he becomes this reclamation for the Angels, who just needed innings.
Well, he had 2 different shots with the Cubs. He came up in 2016, again last year, just 25 appearances last year with an ERA of 5 1/4, so he didn't dazzle.
See the slider quite a bit. You mentioned how good it is. He's given up in his major league career 10 hits on his slider in parts of 3 seasons.
That's pretty impressive. He had a good run in the minor leagues.
Moncada vaults it left side, and Trout fading the other direction for out number 1. Along with the slider, he'll throw the sinker 29% of the time, 4-seamer 29%, the changeup every once and again.
So you're talking about 58% on basically your fastball, because sinker and 4-seam, it's still a fastball, just that they move different ways. But he's not overwhelming with any of them, which is why he depends by and large on his slider, especially as a wipeout pitch.
They'll face Yolmer Sanchez, who yesterday went 1 for 4 with a run scored. He walked as well in the 6th. Yolmer has been wildly dependable this year for the Sox.
Actually gotten some big hits from both sides of the plate. Played a consistent defense and will steal a base for you.
Sox were steal happy yesterday. Moncada stole a base, Sanchez stole a base, and Engel stole a base. Ricky Renteria with quite a bit of family in attendance, not far from where he grew up. Ricky said, as you see Sanchez, lefty and righty, he has been much better against right-handed pitchers than left-handed pitchers. And that is strike 3, 2 down. But Ricky Renteria said, look, I've got so many people here, I can't comp them all tickets. So some of them just went out on their own and bought their own tickets even before he could reach out and get them tickets. He's got so many people in attendance.
That's the dilemma. When you come to a town where you either live in that town, you live close enough to that town, or have family who lives in that town, then everybody calls you and says, hey, you know, look, I only want 4 and I only want them. They can be the second row. I'm okay with that.
They don't mean that. They really, even if they're saying that, they want the first row, and will feel slighted. To left field on a line, and a sliding try by Upton is not successful. Upton could not make the catch. Abreu has a base hit.
And that was Ryan Additon out there to make the call. He was going right towards it. He saw that that ball hit the grass. It was a good effort by Upton, but he came up a touch short. We'll slow it down for you. In the glove on a bounce.
Well, that swing and the confidence of swinging at the first pitch for Abreu, who in that slump had been letting good first pitches go by, another good sign.
No, when he's feeling good about the at-bat, he will swing at the first pitch.
Here's Avi, who had a little bit of a scare yesterday. He was scratched from the lineup a couple of hours before first pitch, and we were told that he was ill, under the weather. Eventually, he ended up going to get a battery of tests done to make sure that his heart was okay. He felt like his heart was racing. And as he was describing it before the game today, he said it almost felt like his heart was in his throat before the game yesterday. And considering he's a father and a husband, he felt the need to go get it checked out. Came back, was okay enough to be a defensive replacement.
And in the lineup again today, so all is well. He was given a workup, and they said nothing wrong.
Yeah, he said all good today. Symptoms went away, so good news. Oh, 2 from Pena. Breaking ball grounded to third. Avi will need a new bat for his next at bat, and the Sox are done in the first. Carlos Rodon out to the hill after this. For the Angels, Fletcher from 9-1 in the order, then Simmons and Trout, who was 0 for 0 yesterday. Upton, Pujols, Kinsler, Marte over at first, Maldonado and Calhoun batting 9th.
Defensive setup for our Sox, put out there by Ricky Renteria. We'll take a look left to right in the outfield with Nicky, Adam, and Abisail. Infield, Yomer, Tim, Yohan, and Jose. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Carlos Rodon. Fresh off a brilliant outing. He's 2-3. His ERA a touch above 3.5. That strikeout number per innings pitch is going to go up when he gets the feel, the good feel for that wipeout slider that he's got. He throws 2 different kinds and uses them effectively.
He will face Fletcher first. A very tough out last night. He was 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles. Very impressive first look at him for the Sox this year. His debut was the second week of June, Fletcher. He's now 8 for his last 13 as he stands in. And 2 doubles, 2 driven in. That's 3 consecutive games of battering opposing pitching. Carlos has decided to ditch the undershirt.
He didn't have one last time out either.
No, the last couple games.
Yeah, seems to feel good with it, so pitcher preference.
3-2.
The irony of that pitch was that it was considerably lower than a pitch earlier. The second pitch of the sequence had the whole plate. He didn't get the call, and that pitch was lower.
Sanchez at third. Across the diamond off his counterpart. 1 down. And Carlos Rodon, those last couple of starts that we've been talking about with very high rate of success. Slider has yielded 0 hits. The changeup, which has improved, has yielded 0 hits as well.
Well, that was the big thing last time out, was he established that changeup early. That really set up the rest of his pitches. If he can establish that early, he's going to be in good shape. And what characterized the last outing, he went right at the Cardinals. I mean, did not mess around in any count, just kept on pumping strikes.
Batters so far this year against his slider are 2 for 30.
Not surprising. I'm surprised he got 2 hits. Nobody's immune to hanging one, but when he throws a good one, it's impossible to hit between the lines.
Foul of third. That changeup, though, is an added weapon. I mean, he's been fastball, wipeout, slider for the most part his first couple of years. Checking to see what it smells like.
Yeah.
Baseball, I would imagine.
Just a little like baseball.
Oh, 2 on Simmons, who's very tough to strike out.
I should say so. He's got to be, well, if he keeps on this pace, which is almost no strikeouts, he's going to be #1 in baseball by a wide margin. I'm not sure if anybody can be close at this point.
His last 4 games, he's not struck out. His last 7 games, he's not walked. He's been a ball-in-play machine over the past week.
Well, he has fanned 16 times, so it's not like he doesn't strike out. That's in 340 at bats, so I'd say that's pretty good.
23.5 plate appearances per strikeout, best in baseball. And this will be a ball in play for out number 2. Couple of ground balls for Rodon as we tell you what you're going to be seeing in our telecast other than bouncing balls to Yolmer Sanchez. How hot is Omar Narvaez? We'll tell you shortly. A great debut for a youthful Cardinals pitcher who was sent down to the minors today. Congratulations. Well done. See you later. And then in the White Sox Farm Report, Ryan Cordell in his premiere in AA after the injury earlier this year, and we're showing you a highlight. It went very well, we promise.
Cordell looked really good in the spring. It was thought that he would be, if not the first guy called up, he would be in the higher echelon, maybe the 1, maybe the 2, maybe the 3rd guy called up, but then he got hurt, as so many have in the Sox organization this year. This is the exception, not the rule, as far as the health of this organization is concerned. Herm Schneider and his staff, Ryan Ball, they do a great job. Alan Thomas, they do a great job getting guys ready to go and back on the field. But this year, it's a proliferation of injuries, the likes of which the Sox haven't seen in a long time.
And just odd injuries, too. Jake Berger hurts his Achilles, and then not long after that, as he's rehabbing after the surgery, he hurts it again in his backyard.
Most amazing part was he was walking.
Yeah.
I mean, so that put him back, and he's going to miss 500 and some at bats this year.
3-1 to Trout, and it wouldn't be a massive surprise if he walked, considering yesterday he was 0 for 0 with 4 walks and a sacrifice fly. He's the 4th player in Major League history to go 0 for 0 with 2 or more stolen bases, joining Dusty Baker, Ricky Henderson, and Wally Shang, the catcher. Hey, Mike Trout walked.
Well, for a guy that is getting closer and closer, that's 92 walks. 92 walks. We're not into August yet.
Yeah, we won't show you that highlight because it's not much of a surprise. We've got Mike Trout walks all over the place in our tape machines in the truck.
He does. He's the walking man. But
He
you can't
walks
blame
on
him.
by.
You look at this lineup, and look, with all due respect to these other guys, I mean, Upton's a good player, as is Pujols. Pujols was a great player. He's now a good player. But if you're going to pick one guy not to beat you, it's got to be Mike Trout. And with that in mind, he doesn't see many strikes because he doesn't have a whole lot of protection behind him.
You hear that about other lineups where managers will say, you look at the roster when you come into town and you say, well, this guy can't beat us. He's that to the nth degree.
It's kind of surprising to me, intentional walks. He doesn't have all that many. I mean, comparative to his ball club, yes, 18 of them. But overall, I'm surprised it's only been 18.
Well, and that, I mean, that just shows the total absurdity of 2004 when Barry Bonds had 120 intentional walks.
Yep. But actually, and it is hard to believe at that point, Bonds was better than Trout.
Really?
Yeah.
Appreciably better, you
Yeah.
think?
And I'll tell you why, because Barry was at the point where in 4 at-bats he would see 2 hittable pitches all night long, and he would hit them both. I mean, and he would hit them both hard, and that's what he did. So I'm not saying that he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm telling you that he was a better hitter than Mike Trout.
Right now.
Oh, yeah.
There he goes. Throw to second is well high. And Mike Trout with his 3rd stolen base of the series.
Stealing on lefties is not easy, but he was going on first move, and that time the throw can't get him. The jump is great. It would have taken a rocket for an arm, very accurate to throw him out with that jump, and even though the throw was high, Omar would not have been able to get him.
He's kind of got the potted plant motif going on right now at second base.
Last thing they want is for him to hurt that left hand.
2-2. That's the problem with walking him. If he's alone on the bases, he can very easily turn it into a double. Two balls, 2 strikes. Rodon to Upton. To short. Anderson snares it and throws him out to save a run. Well struck, but Anderson held the line, and Carlos likes it. No score. Here's Omar. Through June the 5th, he was hitting 170. Since then, he's the best hitting catcher on the planet.
Pretty amazing. 462. That would qualify as robust.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty good run at it.
So I asked him before the game, what's changed?
Is it his batting average?
Well, that too.
Yeah.
He said he's essentially disregarding a portion of the plate. He figures that a pitcher is going to throw him in a certain area predominantly, and he waits for that type of pitch as he sends this ball out to right field. Calhoun is underneath. That makes him sound like a guess hitter, but it's really probabilities. If you think somebody's going to pitch you in a certain location, you just decide to wait until that comes.
The better the pitcher, the more of the plate you're going to have to concede, because against the great pitchers with 3 wipeout pitches, you cannot protect the whole plate. If you do, your odds of guessing what pitch it is 33%. If he's a 3-pitch pitcher, if it's a 4-pitch, it's 25%. Then your odds of figuring out what kind of velocity is going to be also lessens that. So if you're going to just strictly guess without any semblance of an idea what the pitcher might do to you, you're probably looking at an 8% chance of getting a base hit. It's not a good chance.
Sounds low.
Yeah, it's low.
Yeah. Davidson takes outside 2-0. Matt with a couple of nice plate appearances yesterday that led to walks. Still trying to find that offensive stroke we saw from him earlier this year.
If he gets a fastball here, he should air it out because he's looking for fastballs to hit.
Line to left field. Upton on the case for out number 2 as we welcome all our viewers watching on La Harpe Video and Data Services in La Harpe, Illinois. You ever learn how to play La Harpe?
I tried. Too many strings for me. There's too many strings attached.
You didn't think about inventing the stringless harp?
Not yet, no. But it's coming. It took me 3 musical instruments to figure out I had 0 talent. None. Less than none.
Who let you do the 3rd instrument after the first 2 went so poorly?
My delightfully supportive parents.
Oh, that was terribly pleasant. I'm almost sad at the aggression I showed on the way in.
There you go.
But I'm not.
I'll
0-2.
get you.
Nicky had the day off yesterday. Daniel Palka got the start in left, and he lays off the high fastball.
Pretty good idea to throw it up there. You'd like it a little more enticing than that last one was. We'll see what Maldonado wants. This is going to be that slider.
Nicky lays off 2-2.
Pena's slider has some depth to it. So as well as a sharp breaking pitch, it also goes down. And he'll throw one that doesn't go down near as much. That's almost like a cutter. But he calls them both sliders.
Left side, Fletcher. 1-2-3 inning for Pena. Bottom 2, no score.
featuring special guest Rick Hahn. Come out to Reggie's in the South Loop for this authentic fan event on Thursday, August 2nd. So for more information, visit NBCSportsChicago.com/event.
You going?
I don't think we're going to be there.
We're going to be in Tampa.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Can't possibly get there for the taping.
Line to shortstop.
The advantage of throwing strike one, not only do you get ahead, sometimes the at-bat ends on line drive. That's why you got 7 guys behind you, 1 in front of you. They're going to take advantage and correct your mistakes. But if you're not throwing strikes, they cannot help you.
Really good news that they added that shortstop position more than 100 years ago.
It's turned out to be a good position.
Yeah.
It's a great place to put a guy if you're a ground ball pitcher especially.
You feel more comfortable with 4 instead of 3?
Yeah.
First pitch hunting again. This one to left field from Ian Kinsler for out number 2. Get this in quick, Steve.
Okay. So, as you, Jason Benetti, enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game. There you go.
We had 2 pitches and 2 outs. I didn't want you to get cut off by the end of the inning.
Never would do that. Not with this impeccable timing.
2 down for Marte.
Most hitters will take a pitch here so as not to have a 3-pitch inning. Let's see if Marte has most hitters.
There's a strike.
He took it.
That doesn't necessarily mean logically that he is most hitters. It means he did what most hitters would do.
That's true. You sure?
Sure, you would have been just a ball to have in logic class. 1-1 on Marte, whose last hit came back on the 15th, 9 days ago.
Got a little power. Adam Engel is way back in center field.
Tim Anderson, busy man. 1, 2, 3 on 5 pitches for Carlos Rodon. Blue Jays Saturday, July 28th, 6:10 p.m. All fans are invited to stay for a spectacular postgame fireworks show presented by Magellan Corporation. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Back home for 6 with the Jays and the Royals. And maybe those Sox fans will be there with us, taking in the Sox on the left coast and then in the Midwest. Really great weather this road trip.
It was just outstanding in Seattle. This is a little bit warm. A little more humid than we're used to this time of year here, but still very nice.
Ball and no strikes on Tim Anderson, who's 4 for his last 8. And maybe the best sign is the last couple of games he's gone without a strikeout.
That good aspect of his game is hitting the baseball. He can do that, but he's getting better fielding the baseball, and that's really good news. But the last month or so, he's made some very good plays. He's made all the routine plays, made the easy throws, made the tough throws, and so he's improved drastically just in the course of this season.
Who was it? Segura that hit the ball right behind second base in Seattle, that Tim went off to his left to make the play and then in one motion threw him out.
Yes, it was. I think Segura was very surprised that the ball beat him to the bag. I think he was thinking about the base hit when it went up the middle.
2-2. Right side base hit. And when Tim's wanding the ball to right field, he is in a good place.
Hit that ball hard, took it right over the head of Marte. So the pitch is away. He stays right with it. Keeps his head down, which is really the key. Doesn't pull off the ball. So if you can keep that front shoulder in the case of Tim, the left shoulder, if you can keep that in, if you can stop it from flying open, you can cover middle out. If that flies open, you have no chance. And Tim right there, you could see his head straight down on it, took it to right field, and did exactly what he should have.
Second hit for the Sox. Adam Engel, the batter. And he takes strike 1. Adam 1 for 4 yesterday with a base hit in the 9th and a stolen base as well.
Tim looking for stolen base number 22 and getting a nice lead at first base.
There he goes on the ground, and they will not get the double play because Tim was on the move. So 6-4-3 on the out of Engel.
I think Simmons felt that they might have had him at second base. He's looking over in the dugout where I'm sure they're taking a look at it. Tim would have stolen that bag pretty easily, but contact was made. It looked like he was safe at second, and they're going to play on.
Eyewitness testimony not terribly accurate normally.
No, there's a rooting interest on the other side of the equation.
Now Moncada takes a strike. Felix Pena came over as not an afterthought, certainly, but not a major cog to the staff, but he's turned out to be important in terms of inning taking for the Angels, especially over the past 5 starts or so. Left side. Moncada's safe. Anderson had to hurdle the ball, and runners at the corners, 1 down.
Infield hit for Yuan. Now, you know what Simmons was thinking as he was going to his right. He was thinking of getting Anderson out at third base. But when he looked up, there was no play at all. That's his first choice. Then guns it across and can't get it there in time as Yuan did a nice job of hustling up the line.
So it's up to Sanchez, trying to get the Sox in the run column first tonight after scoring first in the first inning yesterday. Up 1-0 on the Abreu home run. Then the Angels scored 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. Sox had the last 4 and 1, 5-3. Well, the Angels are well back of Houston in the division. The Astros leading Colorado 2-0 in the fourth. Question is, could the Angels feasibly catch Seattle for that second wild card spot? And it would take quite the run.
Yeah, I would say that with the configuration of this team the way it is now, pending any type of deals where they acquire something substantive, they're not going to get to the playoffs this year.
Seattle home for San Francisco tonight. Oakland trailing Texas 10-4. As Sanchez takes a third straight pitch out of the zone, and with Abreu on deck, you'd imagine this would be a take.
I certainly would think so.
It is. Bases loaded, one down, and the Sox are in business here in the third.
Charles Nagy coming out now to have a word with his young right-hander, who's not really starting out. He's 28 years old coming into this season. Started back in 2009 with the Cubs, was a non-drafted free agent.
Well, they've really needed him because everybody's hurt. I mean, everybody on this pitching staff seems to be hurt. Richards, Shoemaker, Wood, Ramirez, Lamb, Meyer, Middleton, and Jewell all on the DL.
Really pretty amazing when you take a look at year after year what's happened to the pitching staff here. Shoemaker and Richards have gotten hurt a lot. Just trying to keep everybody healthy. They have not been able to do it for whatever reason. Crew with the bases loaded for Jose has been pretty good. 341.
He only saw one pitch first time up and laced it to left. A little bit low, ball one. So now 3 for 5 in the series for Jose. 4 for 9 his last 3 games. Now 2-0. Mike Scioscia was rather displeased with a couple of balk calls last night.
One looked to me like a balk, the other looked to me like, could let that one go, but they didn't.
Right field side, toward the corner it goes. Calhoun is over in the corner, and it's foul. Very close.
That is really a short porch down the line in right field, and that one didn't miss by much, but it was slicing and went on the wrong side of the pole for Jose and the boys. This one hugged the line for a long time before slicing just at the very end.
Two and one. That's inside, ball 3. Avisail Garcia next. You'd imagine a fastball and a pretty good one right here for Jose. Three one. It was not a good one. Ball 4. A bases loaded walk, and the Sox lead 1-0.
That'll be a number 55 for Jose. And he did it the quiet way.
Even if this were 4 days ago, though, he might have gotten himself out in that scenario.
Very selective, that at bat.
So one in, bases still loaded, and Avi the batter. Pena started with some sliders last time up. That is ball one high.
Career with the bases loaded for Avi has been pretty good also, just under 300.
In the air right side. Calhoun. Moncada tagging. Calhoun airmails the plate. And the Sox get one more. Obvious sac fly. 2-0 Sox. Moncada a little gingerly up and walking to the dugout.
Going to be a sacrifice fly for Avi and a very bad throw from Cole Calhoun. Fortunately for the Angels, Pena's in the right spot. Everything seemed to be okay, except a little limp toward the end of that.
Brings up Narvaez, second and third, 2 out. And Omar takes ball one. I didn't see anything untoward on his slide, did you?
Nope.
Ripped to first, and Marte saves the day. It would have been 4-zip if it got by. Instead, Pena's ERA rescued by Jeffrey Marte on a dart from Narvaez. For the first time in your career, you get handed the ball. First time ever, 7 no-hit innings. What happens after that? After this catch by Ozuna in left field, you go down to the minors.
Well, he couldn't go 9. I mean, you can't blame the Cardinals there. They had the guy with no hitter. Felt 116 was enough pitches, so they took him out. And he wasn't going to pitch today or tomorrow, so down to the minors you go.
Well, that's your life is unfair moment of the day, though.
That's pretty true. You were pretty good the last time out, I would say.
They called up Austin Gomber, who has gone 6 1/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, the Cardinals tonight. And they lead the Reds in extras 4-2. But they are not close to the hottest team in the NL Central right now. The Pittsburgh Pirates are killer.
Pittsburgh beat Cleveland again. Beat them 9-4 today as the Pirates look like, against all odds, they want to make a late season run.
It's 11 straight.
It's pretty amazing. 11 straight. They could move just 7 back in the loss column to the Cubs for the division title.
By the way, Carlos is pretty angry he didn't get that last strike call, and rightfully so. Well, who knows if the Pirates have enough in the NL Central, but they're making it interesting.
They are that. And the Cubs tonight trailing to the Diamondbacks 4-1. That game in the bottom of the 8th inning. So could very well be that the Pirates do pick one up. And Milwaukee remains to be seen.
Right side of the infield, Moncada to Abreu for out number 1. Join us for the second half of the season with the All-Star Mini Plan. Get any 3 games, excluding the Cubs series, and get $10 in added value per game to spend throughout the ballpark. Plans start as low as $79. Purchase your tickets at whitesox.com/all-star plan today.
Cole Calhoun, who led off the ball game last night, dropped to the 9th spot against Rodon. Carlos is not pleasant for lefties to face, especially if he's getting that slider anywhere near the plate.
And Calhoun, whose weighted on base average is 183 against left-handers, which is very low. Certainly cannot enjoy the matchup. There's the batting average at 123.
That's not good.
No. But if there's a time you don't want to face Cole Calhoun, it's right now, considering
He's been one of their hottest hitters after really being cold the first 3 months of this season.
another close pitch, and again the low portion of the zone is just not going to Carlos Rodon.
Pat Holberg is not calling low strikes. He's not doing it for either of these pitchers. So you might get one upstairs. You're not going to get it knee high.
That's a strike. About belt high, 2-2. Carlos Rodon still just 25 years old. Former first-round pick of the Sox. It's like a combination of I don't like the sign and I wish I had that strike call from earlier. Two and two. A half swing for strike 3. First punch out for Carlos. 2 down in the 3rd.
Good high fastball, and if you're looking slider, you're going to get a swing that looks like that. Yikes. Not too good. He realized a little too late that that one was close enough to the zone where he had to protect and went down on strikes.
You see the average against the slider this year, 0.67. Fastball average is well down from a couple years ago. As he misses for ball number 1, but the changeup as well. He's gotten more swings and misses the last couple of starts on it.
That's been a huge factor for him.
Left hand side and hooking wide.
So a lot of people would say he has an unhittable fastball when he's right.
Yep.
He has an unhittable slider when he's right. Why would you even need a changeup? And one of the reasons you need that is if you can't locate your fastball for a couple of innings and you lose your slider, you have another pitch that you feel good about that you can throw until the other stuff comes back to you. So it's not like you're using all of your pitches in one at bat. But sometimes a pitch will just go away. And then if you have a couple more that you're feeling pretty good about, you can wait it out until that pitch comes back to you, and that's what the straight change will be for Carlos.
When a pitch goes away, right, you throw one poorly.
Yeah.
How often does it come back the next pitch, and how often does that almost immediately become a run of loss of command?
Well, nobody is immune to throwing a bad pitch. So if it is a mechanical difficulty, then a veteran pitcher can pick it up quickly. And by mechanical, we're saying maybe the stride got a little longer than it should, consequently you can't stay over the top of anything, or your step gets a little shorter than it normally is, in which case you're going to probably throw everything down instead of throwing it up. But a veteran pitcher can adjust to that pretty quickly, whereas a kid pitcher can't.
Check swing, ball in the dirt, and that's strike 3. Throw to first completes the out, and a 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Rodon, who's been lethal tonight. Along with you, Matt Davidson, Nicky Delmonico, Tim Anderson to bat here in the 4th. And you saw the rock pile out there in center field when Shohei Ohtani hit his home run yesterday. They set off some pyrotechnics and beyond there. But Adam Engel said when the home run went over the wall, he felt this blast of heat. And evidently, whatever flames or fire that pours out on home runs here is so powerful that it can actually wash over the center fielder. Adam was very surprised immediately when it happened. But that's some power in Ohtani's bat to center field. He is one of the best center field power guys in baseball.
Well, he's got a most unusual swing, but it's very effective, and he is awfully strong. He just made one disappear, but you can't play him every day, and you're not going to play him against the tougher left-handers until he really gets his feet on the ground, but he's going to be a huge presence.
Cracked foul right side by Davidson, 2-2. Asked Lucas Giolito to estimate the distance of Ohtani's home run. He guessed 500 feet.
Probably seemed like it when it left the bat.
435 was the official number.
It was a blast.
Great outing, though, yesterday for Giolito.
Giolito came away with the win.
Simmons at shortstop. That is not the guy you want to hit it to. One down. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today at rate.com. You need a mortgage?
Usually.
You're just in the market generally for mortgages?
Yeah, you always want to keep a couple in your back pocket just in case you come around a house that you like.
So that's an interesting business plan. Nicky takes ball number 1. You know, considering the way he played at the end of the year last year, he almost felt like he was a sure bet to duplicate those numbers. As Fletcher flashes the glove for round number 2, and you almost forget that Nicky was a rookie last year. He's in his first couple months of Major League Baseball before he got hurt this year.
And I was just saying, then he goes through a situation where he's had a spring training. He's feeling pretty good about what he does. He was given the job, at least on a semi-regular basis, and then loses a couple months of the season to a broken bone in his hand. So for him, it's like going through another spring training again, despite the fact that he went through a minor league rehab. You just never quite take as much time as you probably should when that happens. You want to get back that quickly and start producing for your ball club.
Well, especially because Nicky knows what it's like to be in the minors and not really have an opportunity. He bounced around a couple organizations, finally got his shot last year, and you don't want to do anything that would jeopardize your future position by not being able to play. Base hit to right in the 3rd for Tim Anderson. Pena struck him out with a breaking ball. Bottom 4 next, 2-0 Sox.
Law, go frisbee golfing with Hector Santiago and Joaquim Soria. Dylan Cease gets mic'd up before the Futures game, and watch Abreu and Moncada put their drawing skills to the test. That's tomorrow at 8 on NBC Sports Chicago.
We saw a glimpse of that.
Yeah,
Abreu and Moncada
that was
drawing.
really good. I like that a lot. 2 budding artists. I don't think they should give away their uniforms just yet to pursue an art career, but that being said, they did a nice job.
It led to one of the worst drawings you'll ever see. Your sketch of me, which made me look like some sort of mutated Stewie from Family Guy.
I think it actually looked pretty good. It was the one thing that I could draw.
You have a future in the arts with your music career and
zero future in the arts.
0-2 on Simmons. Carlos using the off-speed pitch.
That was a good straight change. He had Simmons well out in front of it, and the fact that that swing was as awkward as it was showed you that the motion by Carlos was not detectable.
0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. A tough guy to strike out, the toughest in the big leagues. Goes down at the hand of Carlos Rodon. As we show you your Sox Math question for tonight. Hashtag Sox Math. First correct answer wins a road prize. Number of relief pitchers the Sox used last night, multiplied by the max number of outs any one of them got, minus total outs they accounted for, and then add the final jersey number of the Angels bullpen coach when he pitched for the Sox.
Now we're talking. This is something you can sink your teeth into. This was finally befitting of Sox Math. This was a good one.
Premium difficulty tonight.
Yep, this is a good one.
Sox Math critic Steve Stone. That's your future in the arts.
That's it.
So now, can you force Mike Trout to do something unproductive?
Well, you're talking about getting him out for the first time in the series?
Pretty much. I mean, he made one out, but it got a run in.
Yeah, well, but it was not charged time at bat. So.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the time. I think Carlos's stuff tonight is very good. I would rather see a high fastball on the inner portion than I would that wipeout slider, because if it's not in the dirt, he can hit the ball down.
They had one of the best of all time at doing that here, Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah, he had a nose-to-toe strike zone, and he was unbelievably good at hitting bad pitches.
Here's your Sox Math clue for the night. Scott Radinsky.
Well, I thought it was a clue. Now you're giving him the name.
It is a clue. You still have to know his jersey number.
Well, yeah, but it's gotten substantially easier.
And lo and behold, you're bitter. 2-2. Called strike three. He stuffed it in on the inside corner, and Carlos Rodon silences Trout.
That's that high fastball we were talking about, and he threw it in a perfect spot, and Mike Trout could not pull the trigger. You stay up there, you're going to be in pretty good shape with one of the league's best. And he gets rung up by Pat Ober.
In this current state, Carlos Rodon is a joy to watch.
What we had to see from him is him paying the price when he came back without a spring training, and that's what we saw. We saw an inconsistent pitcher. And then when he got to the point where he had made his 5 starts, which approximates the spring training, all of a sudden the slider was a little better, the control, he had a better feel for it, he was getting changeups over the plate. So for him now, he's like in early season throwing the ball very well.
We even said at that first start at Fenway Park, it was a couple innings into the game, the slider he got the feel for, and then there was the bumpy start that you imagined was going to happen, the third start,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And now?
And now he's back and throwing it really well.
In the air, first base side, Jose for out number 3, and Carlos Rodon through 4 has allowed 1 base runner. Ricky Renteria, we told you, has a lot of family here. And last night we saw somebody in the crowd who I thought, you disagreed a little bit, I thought he looked like Ricky Renteria and Steve Martin combined.
Yeah, but that's because he's Ricky's brother.
And that's what we found out. You see the split screen there from last night. Very clearly, there's some resemblance. It's his brother Gabriel.
Well, there he looks like it. I'll grant you that.
We had that same shot last night, and you said he didn't look like him at all.
Last night he didn't. But today he's starting to look a lot like him. That's what happens with brothers later in life.
It's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I showed the picture to Ricky. I said, I think there's a small chance this is your brother. And he said, yeah, it's my brother Gabriel, his older brother. And you can see the resemblance facially, certainly. But Ricky even agreed that there's a little Steve Martin in Gabriel. Not comically, but facially. But Gabriel was the guy who actually helped get Ricky Renteria into the game of baseball. Into left field, and it hangs up there for Upton, one down. When Ricky was little, he used to go around to the baseball games locally around the area, not far from here. He'd tag along and play alongside his brother, and there was one day that his brother Gabriel gave Ricky the gloves that they had, that the family had, and he said, no matter what happens to you today, make sure that nobody takes these gloves. There were like 3 gloves, and Ricky was in charge of basically keeping them safe. And so he's walking to the field, and a couple of boys who evidently wanted to have the gloves said, hey, give them to me. And Ricky said, he was very young, and he said, no, my brother said I can't give up the gloves. So Ricky evidently took quite the walloping from these boys in the neighborhood, but kept the gloves safe. That's dedication to the cause.
That's actually very good.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the beating, but the fact that he kept the gloves.
No, he was no worse for the wear in the long run. But it was his brother, who's here for the series, who kind of got him into baseball. 1-2 on Moncada. Tipped foul. Maldonado's had a couple of baseballs back that direction over this series so far. One that rang in and out of his glove last night for a possible strike 3.
That one riding up and in almost got a piece of that lead elbow on Yuan. Somehow he was able to avoid it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball off the plate outside. 3-2.
That was his straight change, was a good one, but Yuan checked it up.
Almost came out like a backup slider.
It looked like Pena wanted that one, but it was not on the plate.
Three and two. Well, Pena has not been long for these games as a starter here with the Angels. 74 pitches, 76 pitches, 76, 83, 74 in his 5 starts so far. Off the plate, outside, ball 4. Moncada takes a 1-out walk, and here's your Sox math answer for tonight. 6 relief pitchers, 3 outs the maximum any one of them got. That's 18 minus 9 total outs they accounted for in back of Giolito, who went 6. And Scott Radinsky's jersey number, his last jersey when he pitched for the Sox, was 31. 40, your answer. Jay Lazowski, 14. Is your winner. Congratulations to Mr. Lazowski. Our good friend Wes Durham is watching somewhere across the country, play-by-play announcer to the Stars. He says his head is about to explode because of tonight's Sox math question.
Knew it was a tough one. He didn't get it, huh?
I don't think he did, and
The answer's 40, you know.
as a disclaimer, Sox math does not cover any medical bills from head explosions. One and one from Pena to Yolmer Sanchez. Moncada at first. There he goes. And that's fouled away. Looked like he had a pretty good jump that time.
He did that. But that was a hit and run because on a straight steal, he's never going to look to see if there's any contact. And he was looking back at Yolmer to see if he put the ball in play. He takes off, but he's looking on in. In fact, he looked a couple of different times, and the ball was fouled.
And Capro over at third base, beating the heat. There's the throw to first. An acknowledgement to the base runner for the first time for Pena.
Pena does not have a good move, so if Yohan wants, he can take another step on that lead.
There he goes. Another foul ball. Hey, Xfinity X1 customers, say show me the Chicago White Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Moncada at first, 1-2. Upton in left. Braces for the ball's arrival. 2 down for Abreu, who's suddenly become a very tough out once again.
This is more like the Jose that we've seen over the last few years. Because the guy that was here for the better part of 6 weeks was not the typical second half Jose.
Remember 2016, a little bit earlier in the year, he went through that prolonged downturn.
Yes, but then turned it on.
Yeah, second half was marvelous. There's always a but then with Jose Abreu.
Well, he's hoping that he can put everything over the last few weeks behind him and just start raking the baseball, which is what he normally does anyway.
Throw to first. Moncada back in. Jose, the only American League player ever, by some research on Baseball Reference, to wear number 79. A couple guys have done it recently in the National League. Right field side. Calhoun into foul territory toward the crowd, and he couldn't make the play.
Looked like he had it briefly, and then the ball got dislodged.
Fans being booed in the right field corner.
He made the effort, but no fan interference as the fans kept their hands in the stands.
And one more drink. plus the ball.
That's good.
If we've seen the best move from Pena,
Yep.
could be a running situation.
It's been.
Yeah. Thought maybe there was one more in the old quiver there.
I don't think he's got a better one than that.
To left field, Upton is underneath for out number 3. Sox strand 1 and still have the lead. As some Sox fans are milling about watching Carlos Rodon twirl another golden game.
Well, he's been awfully tough to this point.
Ball 1 to Albert Pujols, who lined out to short on the first pitch he saw in the second inning. Sanchez has time, and that peg is right there for out number 1. Now it's time for Built for Baseball, and it's brought to you by the fine folks at T-Mobile. It's Carlos Rodon's night so far.
I should say so. He's been absolutely magnificent to this point. Has given up a total of no hits.
Ball 1 to Ian Kinsler. Did you by chance kick out the power strip in the Angels TV booth?
Well, it's the least I could do for Mark Gubiza, Victor Rojas. Their equipment has gone out. That's what happens when you don't pay your bills.
Sorry, guys.
Yep. Our televisions are working just fine. Come on over here.
TVs are on the ready. I looked over. I thought they were being attacked by those bumblebees you were talking about.
You wait and see. Wait for the day game.
There's a bee infestation here periodically, is what you.
Well, yeah, but no, not bumblebee infestations. Regular old, nice, friendly honeybees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Kinsler is wiped out by Rodon. Strikeout number 5 for Carlos.
Here's a slider coming, and Ian Kinsler no match for it. He swung to one early in the at-bat. He swings at another one. And little tag, and quickly 2 up, 2 down.
Only one base runner so far, the walk to Trout in the first. Marte. Takes ball number 1. Cue shot foul at first by Marte.
Good straight change had him out in front.
And the ball rests quietly down the first base line. The lifespan of a baseball is much shorter nowadays than it used to be.
Seems like it.
Gone are the days when they used to play with one baseball and you'd have to track it down in the crowd. Wide of third and foul, 1-2. Jeffrey Marte, 2007 free agent out of the Dominican Republic. He's the opponent for Rodon with 2 down. He spent nearly 8 years in the minors before his debut back in 2015. 1-2. Anderson at short. And Rodon is through 5 with only 1 base runner off a walk. Report. It's brought to you by Guaranteed Rate, and Ryan Cordell in his return from the disabled list. A home run. Welcome back, Ryan. The outfielder the Sox got for Anthony Swarzak in that deal, sending the reliever to Milwaukee. To some scouts, Cordell really held his own in a very talented outfield in AAA with the Brewers, with some of those young players on the way up. And it'll be interesting to see what the end of the year holds for him.
What should be interesting here is the Sox need another run or 2 just to make it feel much more comfortable. They used a great part of their bullpen last night.
Second base, Kinsler, the juggle, and he's late on the throw. Avi's safe.
That should be E4. We'll wait and see what the official scorer says. If it is, it's going to be the 7th error of the year. It is E4 all the way.
Well, this is usually the line of demarcation for Pena. 75 pitches or so. He's not typically going to go much farther than that. So with a bonus out for the Sox, we'll see what that provides in terms of longevity as Narvaez cocks this ball into the alleyway in left center field. Trout cuts it off. Avi's on his way to third. He is in there and behind the play. Narvaez to second.
That's a base hit and probably an ill-advised throw for Mike Trout. He is accurate. He doesn't have the strongest arm around, and he allowed the trailer, in this case Narvaez, to move to second base out of a double play situation. So Omar hits this ball as he's hit everything for the better part of 2 months. The throw is a decent enough throw. However, Avi with good speed beats the play, and then Omar, watching the throw, realizes they're not going to get him at second base. That's a heads-up piece of base running by the trailer, Omar Narvaez.
Sox with a really strong chance to score here. Second and third, nobody out. Davidson, Delmonico, and Anderson on the way. California-born Matt Davidson out of Yucaipa, California, about an hour away from here. Broken bat. Simmons comes home, and it's waiting for Avi for out number one.
That was a contact play. Anytime the bat hits the ball, you take off. What you're playing for here is that the ball won't go straight at a defender, and it went straight at Simmons, who's got a strong and accurate arm that cut down Avi easily at the plate.
So how different does that make the inning? And the numbers say typically second and third, nobody out, you get about 2 runs an inning. First and second, 1 out, it's down to under 1 run per inning.
It's a big play. You bring the infield in, you tell them on anything resembling a ball hard enough, you got to come home with it. You're not going to turn 2 on that play. You can't possibly. There was nobody at first base. So you're just gambling that a chopper in the infield goes someplace else, and it didn't.
Nicky takes ball 1.
Angels pen up and going, and it is Ramirez.
Noe Ramirez.
They got a couple of those.
There's a strike on Nicky. We saw quite a few of the relief arms for the Angels last night with Robles and Alvarez and Anderson and Parker in back of Berea. Scooped in the air to center. Trout is there, and 2 are out. You don't get the sense that this is the liveliest opponent the Sox have seen this year. There's not been a lot of energy shown by the Angels in this series. And I know that's a value judgment and very subjective, but that's just kind of the way it feels.
For them, it's been a disappointing year, and they don't have a lot of real talented young players. They have a lot of players that are veteran players. And as much as they try on a daily basis, they're just not quite as exuberant as the youthful members that inhabit a roster.
Ball 1 on Anderson, who singled and scored and struck out so far tonight.
So Maldonado goes out to have a word. They come in the middle infield. Both Simmons and Kinsler.
Well, look, the Angels have certainly had trouble keeping the pitchers healthy. It's time for Lowe's whole team together, and it's are major league leaders in pitchers used this season. This includes position players as pitchers, so that's why the Cubs are tied there. Cubs keep using position players to pitch, but the Angels would be far and away, at least to this moment, number one without those. 29 pitchers used by Mike Scioscia this year and Charles Nagy. And more to come, you'd imagine.
You would think so.
Expand. Tim went around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sox got 2 runs in the third. Bases loaded walk for Abreu, then a sac fly for Avi Garcia. And Ricky Renteria's team trying to make it 2 in a row here in Anaheim. Now a baseball-only facility after housing the Rams for a long while. One.
Bainey got away with a spinning slider there. That was up in the eyes of Tim, who fouled it straight back. He made a mistake and he got away with one.
One ball and 2 strikes. Omar at second, Matt at first. 1-2. In the air, left field. Upton does get over there to haul it in on the run. Saves a run. We'll go bottom 6. Sox up 2. $22. You got to be 21 and over with a valid ID. Bleachers and Brews presented by Budweiser. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com/brews. Carlos Rodon, 1 base runner allowed. That was on a walk in the first inning to Mike Trout.
He's been throwing it
6th.
Thrown it as well as you could throw it.
Ball 1 to Maldonado, who's 0 for his last 18.
And only 65 pitches for Carlos to this point. Very economical.
Sanchez at third. 1 down. As Jose does his patented moonwalk into foul territory. The infield has been working overtime tonight. Carlos Rodon has given up 1 ball to the outfield. 1.
He's not using the center of the plate for anything. I mean, he's throwing it in on their hands. He's using that slider away when he gets the occasional left-hand hitter, which is just one of them.
Here's professional occasional lefty Cole Calhoun.
It's a tough assignment as the only lefty in this lineup.
He forced 5 pitches last time that finally went down swinging for the first of 4 straight strikeouts for Carlos Rodon.
In the meantime, Calhoun had a good cut at the last pitch.
One one. Call a strike. 1-2.
Last time he used a high fastball in to wipe him out. This time it seemed like a slider away would be the effective pitch.
1-2. Into right field, and Avi gets over there to pull it in. Avi Garcia to the rescue. 2 down.
That was a sinking line drive that Avi took right off the top of the grass. Didn't look like he was going to get there, and at the last instant he did get there. Kept the ball in the glove, did not hit the turf at all. And a fine play. That was a very good at bat by Calhoun. He took good swings. He stayed right in and almost came up with the first hit.
Question at the end of this night will be, how often will they talk about Avi Garcia's catch in the 6th inning on July 24th, 2018? One base runner via the walk tonight for Carlos as he pumps in a strike on a fastball. No balls, 2 strikes on Fletcher. Lined hard and foul.
The fastball up there at 97 upstairs. Fletcher able to stay alive. Don Cooper with Nick Capra. Not too many pitches to keep track of. Number 75 on the way.
The only blemish on his record, a 5-pitch walk to Mike Trout in the first. 1-2. Foul to first.
That one not hit hard. Fletcher able to fight it off and stay alive in the at bat.
Ball looked like it might have had interest in finding its way fair. Ball and 2 strikes. Well, last time out, Carlos Rodon went 7 1/3 against the St. Louis Cardinals, and that was a long time ago. It was 13 days ago. Now 3-2. When you haven't thrown for that long, is fatigue more or less of a factor later in the game?
I don't think it's going to be a factor at all in this one. I think he's got so much adrenaline at this point that he's going to ride it for as long as he can.
3-2. That's ball 4. Second base runner Fletcher walks and Simmons will bat. Well, this is right around the time of a low-scoring game with few base runners, where one end of the spectrum is a 2-run lead and the other end of the spectrum is history. and they're very close cousins based on the result of each at bat. Tying runs suddenly at the plate. Carlos taking in the full effect of the warm California air tonight. 0-1 in the air and foul. 0-2. Well, striking out Andrelton Simmons twice in one game is unheard of.
Well, if he buries a slider here, he's got a good shot at it. But then if Omar's going to call for it, and there it is, you better block it.
He got a piece. About 23 plate appearances per strikeout for Andrelton Simmons. #1 in baseball by far. Second place coming into tonight was Michael Brantley at 12 and change. Chopper on the infield and through. First hit tonight for the Angels. Simmons now caught between first and second. He is out. The hit does stand. The no-hitter is over, but so is the inning. And it's 2-0 Sox to the 7th. Way up is because the Sox finished off the inning on the infield bottom 6.
Let's take another look at this as this one sneaks through. So the no-hitters by the boards, and then pretty good solid throw to third base and heads up play by Yolmer behind Andrelton Simmons, and Simmons cut down. Trying to go to second base, but he's trying to put on the brakes and cannot get back in time.
Then he went fish on the beach into first.
There was a very good break for our Sox as you look at Noe Ramirez, who comes into this for the 48th time. 4.3 ERA, just below 4.5.
He spins in strike one to Adam Engel. 28-year-old Noe Ramirez, who came up with the Red Sox, now here with the Angels. 3-pitch pitcher. Out of the bullpen. Fastball, slider, changeup. Little Fidrich-like with the hair.
Tall and lean.
Check swing on the slider. And Adam went around 1-2. Angels have not been to the playoffs in 4 years. They're the team that fell to the Royals. There's strike 3 on Engel. And you wonder how much air that season took out of them, because they end up losing a couple of extra inning games to start that series. Then they get swept by Kansas City, and they haven't seen the postseason since. One down for Moncada, who last 10 games for Yoan Moncada. We've heard a lot about the strikeouts. 11 walks, 10 strikeouts in his last 10 games, including the walk in the 5th tonight. A couple of former Red Sox, Moncada and Ramirez. Angels with, I was going to say, some of the greatest players the last couple decades on the roster. Moncada drills it. Right field. Calhoun at the warning track and the wall, and he leaps, and Calhoun can't bring it in, and it is over the wall, over the line for a home run. Moncada slams it out of here and expands the lead.
Last year that probably would not have been a home run, but this year when they made the scoreboard into touch 'em all, that's what happened. Calhoun went back as far as he could go, and then the leap, but our forward home run replay will show you that it hit off the scoreboard, and that is circa 2018, a home run. That's the 13th of the year, the 42nd driven in, and another run on the lead.
Calhoun challenged again, this time coming in on Sanchez's ball. 2 out. Yeah, anything over the yellow line is a home run, and that yellow line has dropped from last year. There it is.
Went above the glove, and that was it.
Abreu takes strike 1. So a 13th home run for Yoan Moncada. And this could overall turn into a pretty nice season for him in the long run. Putting together improved at bats.
He has been doing that. A little more selective. Not quite as victimized by the straight change as we saw.
Oh, and 2, Ramirez. A 1 hopper. Sox and Angels will play again tomorrow, same start time. That'll be James Shields versus Tyler Skaggs. And then Covey and Tropiano on Thursday in the day game on Getaway Day. Brush to third, Fletcher. For out number 3. Yoan Moncada. A tater to right field. Just got it over the line. And the Sox lead 3-0. You know his good friend Jose Abreu's got to be happy. Oh, a forced hug by Yo-Yo. PM. First 10,000 fans get a free Hawk Harrelson themed t-shirt presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866 Sox Game. Outside to Trout, 1 ball, 1 strike. So Rodon strikes out Trout in the 4th inning, and now he's ahead 1-2. Willing to go down out of the zone that time.
You can take a plus for a hitter, and Trout is a low ball hitter. You can throw it lower than low and get him out down there. Not quite that low, but low.
Yeah, that's corkscrew into the ground low. Here's why you don't want to throw him low in the zone if you're facing Mike Trout. Look at those numbers. Eesh.
Yeah, belt high and below, you've got some problems if you keep it there.
Even down and in, out of the zone, he's hitting .308. 2-2. He struck him out again. Rodon fans Trout for the 2nd time.
Down and out of the zone. So he took Trout's strength and used it against him. Buries that slider. Nice pick by Omar. And Trout down on strikes for the 2nd time.
So Upton will bat with nobody on and 1 out. And Carlos Rodon, who's been magnificent tonight, throws ball number 1. Carlos, last start we told you 7 1/3 against the Cardinals. Before that, 6 innings, 2 earned runs against a very talented Houston offense. And if not for maybe a couple pitches that didn't go his way, the 5 1/3, 5 earned runs in Texas likely would have been a lot better.
Pretty stout line so far.
3 balls, no strikes. Five-pitch second was mighty nice. On the corner, 3-1. Well, after last night's mix and match bullpen usage, Carlos is providing an off day, at least for now, for a number of folks out there. To right field on a line, Avi on the hunt for out number 2.
Let's take a look at the high-speed action powered by Xfinity, and it's a sinking line drive, and Avi right on the job. Takes this one right off the top of the grass. Save the no-hitter for the moment. Just a terrific play by Avi.
Two down for Pujols. Ball 1. You know, Avi, since he's lost weight, and you've commented on it before, his outfield play has gotten substantially better over the past couple of years.
Well, I think he realized that if he was going to play every day, and he had fully intended to do that, he was going to have to shore up the defense, and he has done that. So he's a better outfielder these days than he's ever been. He's always had a good arm. And this year, just the problem staying healthy, because when he stayed healthy, he's performed.
1-2. Wrapped foul of third by Albert Pujols, who, when you look at those seasons he put together with the Cardinals, 3 straight years, 2008 to 2010, OPS is over 1,000 for the year, on base plus slugging. 4 straight years before that over 1,000. Here he checks his swing, and Pujols is dispatched. He leaves the batting circle. He is out, and a 1-2-3 7th for Carlos Rodon, and a 3-0 lead.
To watch James Shields battle lefty Tyler Skaggs, with coverage beginning at 8:30 with White Sox pregame live, or you can stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
Sox are hoping that'll be an effort to win 3 in a row here in Anaheim, after the Mariners took 2 of 3 in Seattle in that portion of the road trip. Sox trying to make life very difficult on the Angels right out of the chute after the All-Star break. And here is Avisail Garcia, who drove in a run in the third. Still just 27 years old, Avi. Flipped foul for strike one. There's so much pressure on him when he was a kid with all the mini Miggy stuff. Future Miguel Cabrera. And we've seen what this game can do to a psyche when the walls start to push in with pressure for highly thought of prospects.
The best thing that happened to Avi was coming to the White Sox. Got a chance to establish that he could play every day. Hit .330 last year and was red hot until he was disabled for the second time, coming off a very severe hamstring injury and then tweaking it once again.
Career .277, 67 home runs.
I think we're seeing with Avi what it takes for a young, strong hitter to start then to turn line drives into home runs, because he's always had the power to do it. Just a question of consistently understanding what the pitchers are trying to do to you and then using the proper launch angle.
Fletcher at third. Out number one. Back at the homestead, a big day in White Sox land as per normal. Every year it's become a yearly tradition. The Double Duty Classic, celebrating the history and tradition of the Negro Leagues in Chicago. Pre-game ceremony before the game. Jermaine Dye was there, as you saw, speaking to some of the best inner city high school players who were able to don those all-star uniforms in game. And a tremendous game. 11-10 the East ended up winning. Minnie Minoso has the most valuable player award named after him. It was presented to Angelo Cantello, who was the DH for the East. A lot of runs in that game. Got a chance to do play-by-play for that a couple years ago, and boy, is it an enriching experience to watch the panel before the game and then see these kids get to play out at Guaranteed Rate Field. Future stars possibly in the game of baseball. Ball and a strike on Omar, who's 1 for 3.
I think it's just great, and I can remember back getting my first chance at playing in a major league field. First of all, it seemed like it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen in my life, but it was just a thrill. That was where, when I was growing up in Cleveland, that was where the Indians played. We got a chance to play a city league game on that field. It was after the Indians game that night. Everybody went home, but a few of our friends were still in this cavernous ballpark, Municipal Stadium, which is no longer there. And it was just a thrill to be on that field. I'm sure the guys in the Double Duty Classic feel the same way.
How fast was your heart racing when the game started?
It was just a thrill. You just felt like, so this is what it's going to be like, hopefully somewhere down the road. This is what it'll be like every day, playing on a field that looked like this. And then, if you get really lucky, then you can actually see what it's like.
There's this combination of skill and fortune and talent that all has to come together to even make it to this level.
Well, you do have to be lucky, and what you really don't know, because you work your body as hard as you possibly can in all kinds of different ways, keeping yourself as strong as you can be, getting yourself to that strength to begin with. But then you have to be lucky. You don't know if your body's going to betray you. I mean, the guys who hang around for a long time, they can depend on their bodies, and they do a really good job of it.
Strikeout of Narvaez.
But I was with a lot of players during the course of my career that had unbelievably good talent, but their bodies did not allow them to excel. They would have a really good short period, and then they would get hurt. Then they'd come back, rehab again, have another very good short period, but get hurt again, and eventually teams start to give up on you if they know you can't go out there consistently and stay off their disabled list. That happens to a lot of guys.
Well, there are also some times where guys unfairly get the injury-prone name because it is in part fortune. There are always going to be guys who are outliers who do keep themselves in great shape, but have a couple of freak injuries that don't allow them to have the type of career that Albert Pujols has.
Right, and later in the career for Albert is when he started having the leg difficulties, but for the longest time he was tremendously durable. You can't put up the kind of numbers he's put up without getting your 5 at-bats on a daily basis.
Albert Pujols, raised in Missouri, 13th round pick, and he will have a shrine.
Yes, he will.
The Angels have had some really great players come through here, but typically they've gone into the Hall of Fame as another team's property. Vladimir Guerrero on Sunday is going to be the first player inducted into the Hall of Fame as an Angel.
Well, there's a matter of debate for Albert, what he's going to do. For Mike Trout, assuming he stays healthy, he's going to be there, and then not a debatable issue whether Trout goes in as an Angel, because I figure he's going to spend a great deal of time here. For Albert,
well, they'll love to hear that.
Well, he'll have a choice.
Was it 2020 he's up?
I think so.
Three and one. That's on the corner. A strike. 3-2. I mean, Rod Carew, Nolan Ryan have come through here, among others. A lot of people think Bobby Grich could be a Hall of Famer.
That's really on the cusp.
Yeah. But he's getting more appreciation as the years go on. In the air and foul from Davidson. Carlos Rodon has been quite good tonight. Juan Minaya is up and loosening. Carlos has his sweatshirt on. When we were in Texas, I asked Carlos, do you see Bartolo Colon? What was he doing? He goes, I don't know what he's doing. And now Carlos has the sweatshirt on.
It was a little warmer in Texas.
Yeah.
And heat index was, I think, 107 that evening.
But you pitchers are crazy. It is hot here. You shouldn't have a sweatshirt on.
It's trying to stay loose.
How?
I have no
Sweatshirts
idea.
make you loose?
Yeah, they do. That one especially.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Ripped to left center field. Davidson sizes one up and ships it up the gap. It's a 2-out double.
Nice at bat by Matt Davidson as he battled, spoiled some very good pitches, finally got one to his liking, and broke through with a ringing double to left center. Charles Nagy checking out the pen to find out if whoever was throwing is ready to go.
Two out, Nicky Delmonico. Check swing and not much of a check. Nothing in 1.
Angels pen up and going. Jim Johnson just activated.
Strike 2. Davidson, the 2-out double. 0-2 for Delmonico. laced into center field. Davidson scores 4-0. The Sox with the lead. And finally, Nicky comes through late in an at-bat with 2 strikes to make it 4-zip.
That'll be a number 8 for Delmonico, his first hit of the night. And that one looked like a backup slider. And Nicky reaches out, takes it into the gap. Drives home yet another insurance run.
The always helpful late runs here on the road on the West Coast. And Nicky is going to get a pinch runner. It's Leury Garcia. And a throw over there. Have we seen a moment where Leury Garcia is not extravagantly happy at first base?
He's a very happy man.
Slider bloop to right field. That's down for a hit. Garcia's on his way to third. Tim watching the play, got caught up slightly, and he is back in. Came off the bag for a moment, but was shoved off, and he's officially safe. He thought the throw was going into third. It was cut off, and Mike Scioscia disagrees with the call.
Well, he believes that Anderson came off the bag and that the tag was put on him. But Brian Knight is saying that that's not Brian Knight, that's Jerry Davis is saying that he pushed him off the bag. You're not allowed to push him off the bag.
Mike Scioscia having some of the steam bubble over from yesterday, we think.
Well, look, for 2 nights, everything that he has talked about, everything that he has appealed, everything that he has debated has gone against him. This will be no exception.
Let's take a look. Oh boy. He's Steve. We love when the Sox get good breaks, right? We'll take it all day. He was out.
He was out.
Yeah.
Yes. He did not get pushed off the bag. He just kept the glove on him. So the glove is on him.
Yeah, and Scioscia is going to make a pitching change here, but based on that replay, and you can't review it because it's a subjective call. The man's right.
He's right. He comes in second in the argument, but he's right.
The old argument silver medal once again wrapped around the neck of Mike Scioscia.
And as Johnson comes in, we'll step out. Be back after these messages.
August 10th, and stay for the postgame fireworks presented by Athletico Physical Therapy. Athletico Physical Therapy, better for everybody. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Time now for the Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And it's about time that Jim Johnson come into this. He's been around seemingly forever. Started his career way back in 2001 with the Baltimore Orioles. There you look at the numbers this year. He was at one point one of the top closers around.
With 2 out, first pitch ground ball. Fletcher at third is on target. Johnson got the job done. We'll go to bottom 8. Sox up 4. Bottom of the 8th inning and a defensive replacement. Garcia came in as a pinch runner. He is now in left defensively. And Carlos Rodon aiming at the 8th inning.
And the bullpen for the Sox up and going. So double barreled action in case Carlos has some problems this inning.
It has been a very good day for Carlos Rodon. It has not been the same great day for his wife, evidently. Ashley Rodon tweeted about 10 hours ago. That ball's tagged into left center field. Engel won't get there on one hop. It leaves the ball yard. So a double for Ian Kinsler to start the 8th inning. Ashley tweeted earlier today, missing your connection by 2 minutes really hurts your soul. And then she said, made it, with 2 clapping emojis, hashtag Carlos Rodon Day.
You can see one hop out of the ballpark, just the second hit of the night.
And Jeffrey Marte, the batter. Maybe the best part of Ashley Rodon's Twitter account is the profile. It says, I use Twitter every 5 days. Only when hubby pitches. Marte takes ball number 1. That's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Marte, who's grounded out to shortstop twice. This is the bottom third of the order. Marte, Maldonado, Calhoun. Saw Kinsler hopping off second base. Ball and 2 strikes. Former Mets prospect Jeffrey Marte takes one inside, nearly got clocked. Carlos Rodon's longest outing of his career is 8 innings. He did it one time this year. That was back on June the 24th against Oakland. Total pitches that day was 99. That one's tipped into the glove, and strike 3. Punch out number 8. Eight strikeouts, a season high for Carlos. 3 short of that career high from last August.
Pitch number 105 on the way for Carlos, who has had just a special night.
What do you like tonight from him?
He was aggressive from the time this game started. I mean, he went right at the hitters. Yeah, he did walk Trout in that first inning, but took that no-hitter into the 6th. Stayed aggressive with everything. Wasn't throwing near as many straight changes this time as he did last time, but the slider was better this time. This is, and we say it all the time, he's got top of the rotation stuff. If he gets it over the plate, he can be a 1 or 2 just about anywhere.
In the air, left field. Garcia. 2 gone, no tag from Kinsler. MLB at Bat, your #1 White Sox app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get White Sox home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Well, Calhoun, the lone lefty in the lineup, you mentioned, had a very nice at bat last time up.
He really did. He was on just about everything. Turned into that sinking line drive that Avi caught. That was with 1 out in the 6th inning. That was the 2nd out.
Two hits allowed by Rodon tonight. 1 more out to make it through 8. Calhoun takes ball 1. Cole Calhoun's dad had a burgeoning baseball career. He decided to give it up and go ride bulls. Cole saw baseball through to great success.
I think he probably made a wise choice.
A little safer.
Yeah. Carlos looking at his middle finger on his throwing hand. Hopefully he is not raising a blister.
Fastball 2-1. You mentioned more slider heavy tonight. 26 sliders, 15 changeups.
And that could certainly be something why it's getting a little sensitive under the nail on that middle finger of his throwing hand. Slider will do that to you.
Well, if Calhoun reaches, you'd believe Fletcher would face someone else.
I think so, especially at the 110 pitch mark.
3-1. Inside ball 4. Calhoun walks. And we may visit Lakeside Bank.
I think Ricky has seen enough. He knows it's a special performance.
Asking Omar how many of those were strikes. Ricky says farewell. Carlos a little hot about that last sequence, and Juan Minaya will come in from the bullpen. Carlos getting a round of applause from the Sox fans in attendance. 4-0 Sox.
Wolf Run in Kohler, Wisconsin. It's glazier carved and Pete Dye designed. Play 4 of Golf Digest's top 100 golf courses, including Whistling Straits, home of the 2020 Ryder Cup. And time now for our Lakeside Bank call to the pen, and it is Juan Minaya. He inherits Angels at first and second. 2 outs here in the 8th inning with a 4-run lead. There you look at the numbers. Out for the 24th time, and lately he's thrown it pretty well.
He takes over for Carlos Rodon, who went 7 2/3, gave up just a pair of hits, walked 3, struck out 8. Shutout on the line with Minaya, the former Astro farmhand, on the hill. Third, down the chalk. Kinsler's coming home. Calhoun gets a stop sign. Fletcher, with his 3rd double of the series, gets the Angels on the board and makes this one closer at 4-1.
Leary does a nice job of getting to the ball and making sure only 1 run scores. This one is up in the zone. Fletcher takes it down the line. And normally you'd think about 2 runs scoring on that one. It wasn't the case.
It's the biggest batter of the ball game, you could argue, because if Simmons gets on, Trout comes up in a very dangerous spot. If he doesn't, it's over in the 8th, and Trout has to lead off the 9th.
Which is the way you want to see him come to bat.
Simmons broke up the no-hitter in the 6th with a bounding ball into center field. That breaks in for a strike, 1-1. Calhoun at third, Fletcher at second. In for a strike, 1-2.
This one had a piece of the plate. Pat Hoberg thought it was good enough. Nice job by Omar bringing the ball back a bit. Very interested spectator in Carlos Rodon.
Simmons gets dropped by that pitch, and he will go to first. Bases loaded, 2 out for Trout. And Simmons is hurt. Take a look at that hand. Simmons just got hit there.
Yeah, it looked like off the top of the left hand.
A career year for Andrelton Simmons. Looks like it won't be derailed by that hit by pitch. So yet again, Mike Trout has fortune land upon him in a major spot in this series.
Don Cooper now coming out to give Juan any type of updated scouting report that he might have for him.
Trout was the tying run in the 9th inning last night. He walked. Tonight, he is the lead run with 2 out, and Juan Minaya faces Trout for the first time. Carlos Rodon has given up the 1 run that was inherited. Cole Calhoun at third, still his property, but the lead is in jeopardy with the best player in the game at the plate.
Take a look at those numbers with the bases loaded, up close to 400 lifetime.
Peter at 94, 0-1. Well, there's no situation where he's not a baseball genius, Mike Trout, but bases loaded especially. He is a demon. Fouled away right-hand side. Rodon in line for the win. The biggest hurdle of the game for the Sox to leap wears number 27 in red. And the dirt knocked down by Omar.
Well, that was a very nice stop by Omar. That was a tough pitch to deal with. That ball bounced a good 3-4 feet in front of the plate. Came back hunting some catcher. Nice job by Omar stopping this and keeping everybody exactly where they were.
One ball, 2 strikes. Trout takes that pitch, had the zone and didn't get it. 1-2 turns to 2-2. Similar to strike 3 in the 4th.
That ball had the plate, but didn't get the call.
2-2. Fouled straight back. Millville, New Jersey's own Mike Trout. Rodon soaking it in with the chant of MVP rising. Trout takes another borderline pitch, 3-2.
This went a little higher than the last one. This was out of the zone.
Trout lovers in unison. 3-2 from Minaya. Fouled away.
Simmons was pretty close to standing at second base by the time that ball was fouled back. Outfield in a no double set there, as deep all the way around as you can get.
Three and two. Outside, he walked it. 4-2. Close the line on Rodon, but not on the rally. With the bases loaded, Justin Upton is the hitter. So for Rodon tonight, 7 2/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. And the Sox will have a discussion on the mound, previously occupied by Carlos Rodon. Yes, you never want to walk in a run. But yes, also there are worse things Mike Trout could have done in that spot than drive in one.
Now you're going to have to deal with a guy can hit the ball out of the ballpark just about the same way as Trout can.
7 slams in his career.
And here comes Ricky Renteria. He wants to go to the pen. So Genmar Gomez is going to come into this one. So as he walks out, we'll step out. We'll be back.
Guaranteed rate field, Huntington Bank Stadium Club. Memberships are available to season ticket holders and also are perfect for non-game day events, including weddings and corporate parties. For more information regarding the Huntington Bank Stadium Club, please call 312-674-1000.
Their Lakeside Bank call to the pen. It is Genmar Gomez. He inherits some problems, and they're all on the bases. On for the 5th time. His ERA at 3.38. Got a couple of holds to go with it. Would like to pick up a 3rd hold right here. And Upton is standing in the way of that.
So Carlos Rodon goes 7 2/3. He's still in line for the win. His ERA got touched a little bit upon his departure. 2 inherited runners end up coming home because the Angels have had the last 4 batters reach due to 1 hit. Upton 0 for 3. Ball 1. Former Cleveland Indians prospect. He was a starter growing up in the Indians farm system, Genmar Gomez. The most recent addition to this bullpen. (1-0). Yanked foul. Sox were both bullpen by committee and bullpen by subcommittee last night with 6 relievers for 3 innings. Ball and a strike. You're kind of in a jam defensively in the outfield because if you play no doubles, a bloop can tie the game.
Surprisingly, Luis Garcia is over toward the line in left field. With Engel straight away, there is a gap in left center.
2-1. In the air, should be playable. Anderson backpedaling. Tim is there, and he makes the catch. Inning over. Sox maintain the lead. 4-2 to the 9th. And we tell you who's going to pitch in tomorrow's game. James Shields against Tyler Skaggs, the left-hander.
James threw the ball very well last time out, and heading toward the trading deadline, there'll be a lot of scouts looking at this performance as he keeps on taking each and every game deep.
Yeah, he's been top 10 in the American League in quality starts.
No, he's been very good.
Left-hander Tyler Skaggs. Sox this year have not had a strong season against left-handed starting pitching. 7-16 against lefty starters. Whereas last year, Anderson, Abreu, Garcia were all really tough on left-handed pitching. The Sox were one of the best teams in baseball against left-handers last year. Angels in the Ninth, which is not a movie that's been unreleased. Pujols, Kinsler, and Marte will be coming up. It's a 10-minute film, straight to the 9th inning. No outfield included.
You would think it would be Soria against them.
You'd imagine.
And he is loosening in the pen as we speak.
Always check in with Kurt Hassler, the Sox bullpen coach, before the series to see whether or not he likes the bullpen and his view of the field. Moncada to left, a dart that's caught for out number 1. This bullpen is not high on his list because it's kind of difficult to see out. There's a pane of glass. Sometimes it can smudge up. And it's all about the view for Kurt Hassler. What makes a good bullpen? Can he see the game clearly?
Can he see clearly now?
It hasn't rained all trip, so.
There you go. He is certainly giving whatever advice he can to Joaquin Soria. Come on in and nail one down.
I did remind Kurt Hassler before the game that there is not a limit on batters faced by relievers. Just to make sure that we were all square on the rules. Second base and Kinsler. Round number 2. Look, Ricky Renteria has been very willing to match up with his relief corps. Just so happened it went to the extreme last night and worked out very well.
Well, you can certainly do that if your starter goes deep into the ball game. And if that's going to be the case, then it really helps set up the bullpen. Giolito went 6. Carlos went 7 2/3, so he's got 2 pretty strong starting jobs from both of his starters in this abbreviated series to this point.
Well, in recent memory, the Sox starting pitching has been very good. Before tonight, the last 10 games, starters ERA of 2.97. Oh, 2. Johnson to Abreu, and it's called strike 3. Jose knew it. Getting over. Bottom 9, Sox trying to protect a 2-run cushion.
Good high fastball. Calhoun goes down. The slider was outstanding. Everything was very good tonight. 7 2/3. Just a couple of runs on only 2 hits. And a fine play by Avi, keeping the no-hitter intact at that point. It was to be lost with 2 outs in the 6th inning. And Joakim Soria comes in the ball game. He's trying to nail it down. Got the heart of the order due up. On for the 40th time, looking for save number 16, and this is 19th opportunity.
His first opposition is the man who's 6th all-time in extra base hits in Major League Baseball, Albert Pujols. He takes ball number 1. He has not hit Soria well at all.
Not at all.
Foul of third by Albert Pujols, 38 years old now. Genmar Gomez got so far the biggest out of this game with the bases loaded, 2 down in the 8th. He coerced a pop out from Upton. Sky high foul from Pujols, 1-2.
It's going to be a slider. Let's see if he can throw it in a good spot.
It's outside. So Albert Pujols, his rookie year of 2001 was actually 3 years after Joe McEwing started his career in the majors with the Cardinals. Super Joe now a coach with the Sox on the bench. And Albert still kicking. There's Super Joe, who has very fond memories of his time in St. Louis. 10 games in '98 and left by the time Albert got there in 2001. The rally monkey ready for bed. 2 outs away from nap time for the rally monkey. 1 gone in the 9th. You know, sometimes you're all rallied out.
It only takes so much rallying.
1 down, Kinsler. Valbuena has grabbed a bat. He's on deck. The Sox matched him up out of the game yesterday. He was announced. Then the Sox brought in Luis Avilan, and Valbuena left the game before he even took a swing, before he even stepped inside the chalk, frankly. Sox grabbed the lead in this game in the 3rd on 2 runs. A Jose Abreu bases loaded walk and an Avi Garcia sac fly. Then Moncada homered in the 7th. Nicky Delmonico drove in the 4th run with a single in the 8th. And Ricky Renteria's crew leads in the 9th. Tremendous year for Joakim Soria.
It's just gotten better and better because he didn't start out throwing the ball near this well. He's throwing it real well now. Has to do with dropping down from the side. Has to do with employing that slider to go along with the sidearm fastball. These are looks that hitters didn't get from him all those years when he was the top of the line closer.
And the one blown save we've seen at all recently was in Houston, and that was partially by his own doing. First time we've really seen him lose control in 2 months. Astros were willing to wait him out that night. Also, they're a very good team.
They are that.
Angels are in danger of losing a game to Oakland, which came back from 10-2 down to win tonight in Texas. This ball punched to center and in. So the tying run will bat. Valbuena looks like he'll be the guy. Nope, it's Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, the tying run. That young one who was asleep may have had his slumber interrupted. Nope. Ohtani takes a strike.
Ohtani, a big man at 6'4", in excess of 200 pounds, and he's got some big power.
Broad shoulders. Ohtani high in the air, but playable. Angle for out number 2. Bullet dodged. 2 away. So now Valbuena, the other lefty on the bench.
Valbuena 1 for 15 with 2 driven in as a pinch hitter this year, but because he has been a pinch hitter at various times in his career, he becomes very dangerous because he is a home run hitter.
Kinsler at first. He runs. Valbuena pops it up. And this will find the seats. Sox threatening to win 2 in a row in Anaheim. Long look from Soria. It's been a good trip so far for those Sox fans to Anaheim with a win last night, 5-3, 1 out to go. Kinsler takes second. It's 1-2. Omar mulls it over. Time called. Kinsler was focused on the plate. Rough series for Mike Scioscia so far. 1-2. Called strike 3 on the fringe, and Soria soaks up another save.
And a well-deserved win for Carlos Rodon. He had great stuff tonight, and then the bullpen made it hold up just enough offense. And the Sox have come into Anaheim, a place that they had some terrible memories of, losing 14 of the last 15 games here. They've taken the first 2 of the series, and tomorrow night back at it again. Get your rest. I'll see you then.
Sounds great. Hope everyone's enjoying the beginnings of their Wednesday in Chicago. We've got a couple of hours left of Tuesday here in Anaheim. Sox are winners by the count of 4-2. 2-0 in Anaheim.